Today's video should be super easy for me to record, and here's why. We're looking at the Caddx Nebula Pro. And as far as a review goes, the Caddx Nebula Pro has exactly the same features as the DJI Air unit or the Caddx Vista camera. It's a little bit smaller, it's a little bit cheaper, and it has a different image sensor in it. But as far as the features that it supports, they're exactly the same. So basically all I have to do in this video is take a bunch of flight footage from the Caddx Nebula Pro and put it side by side with a bunch of flight footage from the Caddx Vista camera and let you decide if the image quality is worth it for you. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm Joshua Bardwell, and you're going to learn something today. Before we get to the footage, let's just take a little trip through the history of DJI/Caddx cameras, because I wouldn't blame you if you were a little bit mixed up. This one that we're looking at right now is the Caddx Nebula Nano, and it was the first camera Caddx put out. It comes in at $125, which is super cheap compared to the Caddx Vista, which comes in around $160. And it has a camera with a 14mm nano size form factor. And that means it's perfect for just the very smallest builds that you might put a Caddx or a DJI system into. But the image quality of the Caddx Nebula Nano was really bad. And they released a V2, which was updated, and the image quality was a little better, but still really bad. In short, I just wouldn't use the Caddx Nebula Nano for any of my builds unless I absolutely needed that 14mm form factor, or it's about 5 grams lighter than the Vista all up, which is, okay, that's not nothing, but on many builds it is nothing. The big reason I would stay away from the Caddx Nebula Nano is that it lacked many of the features that I like in the DJI system. It only supports high quality mode, not low latency mode, and it only supports 16:9 widescreen. It doesn't support 4:3, and you can't adjust the image on the Nebula Nano at all, like to change the brightness or anything like you can with the regular DJI camera. Along with the Nebula Nano, Caddx also released the Nebula Micro. And the Nebula Micro has the same limitations of the Nano, only supports 16:9 mode, only supports high quality mode. You can't adjust the settings for the Nebula Micro in the DJI goggles, but it does come with a joystick, just like your old analog cameras, and you can adjust the settings using that. Yeah, it's better than nothing. The image quality on the Caddx Nebula Micro, I had some of these on the Micro Long Range 4-inch quads when I did my Micro Long Range Roundup. And I'll put a link to that down in the video description, and you can check out that footage if you want to. It's not going to be in this video. The limitations of the Nebula Micro being forced to use high quality mode and forced to use 16:9 mode, to me, those are deal breakers. I always run low latency mode. So we come to today's product, the Caddx Vista with Nebula Pro. And this one is pretty interesting because, like I said in the intro, it features the full capabilities of the DJI camera. It can be in both high quality and low latency mode. It can be in 16:9 or 4:3 mode, and you have the full adjustability of the image. It's not that much lighter. It is a standard 19mm size. The DJI camera is it's like a 0.5 millimeter, maybe a millimeter larger, and some frames it can be a little tight getting it to fit, although most frames have enough flex in the mounting mechanism to work with either. But it is a standard 19mm size, and it is maybe about, what is it, $10 cheaper, $149 for the Vista with Nebula Pro, and $159 for the Vista with the DJI system. So the big question then is, how is the footage? Let's take a look. Now, you're watching this over the internet, and we know that services like YouTube, Facebook, etc. make videos look worse. I am going to render this in 4K resolution with the best bit rate that I possibly can, and you should change the resolution of your viewer to 4K resolution, or the highest resolution you possibly can. Obviously, the image itself is only 720p. That's what the camera and the system does. But by rendering it and uploading it in the highest possible resolution and bitrate, hopefully you will see as close to the original footage as possible. And I'm not going to tell you which of the cameras you're looking at right now. I'm just going to show you. Let's start with a still image, shall we? The still image that you've been looking at. What do you think of it? Alrighty, now here's camera number 2. The sun's in a slightly different position in the sky, so maybe there's just a little bit of change in the lens flare or whatever, but get yourself a good look. Pause the video if you need to, and then we will put these guys in the air and see what you make of them. All right, we're back to camera 1 here, and I'll just give you a little bit of time to watch the footage and see what you think of it. And here we are back with camera number 2, and I'll give you a few moments to watch this. Here's a comparison of how the cameras handle a light up LED race gate, just a little bit of a different exposure challenge. Here we're seeing them with the lights on and with the lights off. Next, we're going to take a look at some footage from dusk. We tried these cameras in pure darkness nighttime, and none of the DJI cameras are actually true starlight cameras. So dusk is about the best you're going to get. You can see the street lights are on here and the lights are on in the houses. It's probably way darker than it looks in the camera. What you should expect to see is that the shutter will have to slow down, which will cause increased motion blur, and that can really challenge the digital encoding and so forth, creating blockiness and so forth. You may want to pause this, freeze frame this, or just watch it and sort of, get your overall impression. And here is camera number 2 in the same conditions. Well, it's the end of the video, and it is time to reveal which camera was which. Did you pick a favorite? Could you really even tell the difference? If I was to go back and say I actually tricked you and changed out which camera was which, would you have seen it? I think that these two cameras are so close in performance that there's almost no difference between them. That's just my personal opinion. But camera number 1 was the Caddx Vista. Camera number 2 was the Nebula Pro, and you're looking at this footage from the Nebula Pro as I talk you out. Whichever one you decide to get, there are links down in the video description, and they are affiliate links. And in case you're new here, what that means is that you click that link, you make any purchase at the affiliated vendor, and I get a small commission. It's an easy way for you to help support the channel. It costs you nothing. Just click the link before you go shopping. Whatever you're shopping for, whether it's a Caddx Vista, a Nebula Nano Pro, or anything else from one of those affiliated stores, just click the link, do your shopping, check out. I get a little commission. I sure do appreciate it. That's going to do it for this video, though. Tell me what you think down in the bottom. Number 1, did you pick one or the other consistently as being better? Or do you agree with me that they're basically the same? Did Caddx finally freaking get it right compared to the Nebula Nano? I'd be interested to hear your opinions. Thanks so much for watching. Happy flying. What are you doing in here? The least you could do is subscribe or join my Patreon, or just here's another video I picked out for you. Jeez.